All right, we're recording. Give me 2 seconds, warm up. All right, hello everyone. Here's our recording. This is my friend Ryan Pfeiffer. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ryan.
Ryan Pfeiffer, living in Portland, Oregon, working insurance in the day and doing all the theater and film and writing I can in the evening. So just
Ryan,
making the best of all the worlds.
yes, the Fife Man is a great actor and theater artist, and we talked, and it was even like, I wondered if he should be the guy I interview because we are close, but we have a unique dynamic friendship in the fact that we're very different in a lot of ways, and the way that our mannerisms are and everything. So and a lot of these questions I don't know about you. I've never asked these questions of you, so I think this is going to be fun. So here we go, Ryan. Your favorite childhood memory. Can you?
Not There isn't like a single memory I can point to. There is, however, this recurring thing that would happen on almost a yearly basis that became like a fond moment that I would always look back on in the early birthdays. I think from like my 8th birthday up through my 11th, my family would always take a trip to this place up in Anaconda, which is Brian, how far away is that from Helena? Like,
I'd say about 60 miles, 70 miles.
yeah, and not too far from that is Fairmont Hot Springs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
very nice hotel and hot spring, and has big swimming pools and water slides and all that. So best thing in the world to a little kid. But like, we would go there for a weekend or 3 or 4 days on every birthday pretty much, and a lot of great birthday presents given at that time as well. I think it was at the Fairmont, one of those Fairmont birthday sessions where I got my first video game, a Nintendo Entertainment System with just a handful of the games that whatever it was my mother and father picked. They didn't ask me for anything, but they just grabbed some stuff.
Do you have one specific Fairmont memory then that you could
I,
expand on?
I would say it was that one because it was something I was looking at getting with for a birthday, just getting the video games, and so one day without even I had talked about it, but I never really asked them for it. So suddenly for them to open up the trunk and to see it along with a handful of games, my little eyes just went boop, and you know they kind of opened up a Pandora's box though, because it was nothing but video games after that. So I mean, the great one of those great memories. Mom was, mom and dad more very loving at that time, and just something great to always a great memory to look back on.
Awesome, awesome. That is cool. And I read a quote recently that was any any moment you enjoy doing something is not a wasted moment. So
Mm.
if that helps justify your gaming, you know, I don't think you're addicted to gaming, but if that justifies the times you've gamed, maybe it's not a wasted moment if you enjoy
It's
it.
the way games have evolved over the years. It can inspire that artist's brain in other ways too. So
Absolutely, they have become very cinematic. I mean, well, you know me, I am a fan of video games too. I don't have the time to play them ever anymore, hardly,
mm,
but yeah. So I hear you. So second question, and I hope that these are the updated questions. Give me 1 second. 1 second. I just want to make sure that I've got all the right questions right. Boom, boom, boom. I know I've went through this. Yeah, okay. All right. Are you a dog or cat person?
I
And
would
there's no
say I would say more cat than dog, though I do interact very well with both.
Mhm.
Is with cats, I guess it was just like the personalities they all seem to have with more they jive more with how I am as a person too. So, but I do there I've known a lot of dogs growing up over the years, and it's like there was something I was talking about at my office actually. One of the little tidbit things I gave people was in my time I had taken care of about 7 dogs, 8 cats, and none of them were my own because they would always come to our doorstep just to play. I was like the favorite uncle to these dogs and cats, and I'd play with them and whatnot. And yeah, so definitely more cat person, but I have nothing against dogs. They can be still even more loving and more, just more playful in that regard. But when you just want to chill at home and then the cats can just can be playful in their own right as well.
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, I am. I mean, I don't want to give my opinion here on my thoughts. I own 2 cats, and again,
Mm-hmm.
I never like the second my cats were around you, the time that I had to stay with you in Portland
Yes.
they bonded to you quick, man. And
And
I have not, especially.
Athena, especially, she's the
I know,
more low key, reclusive one of the
I
two.
know, I know. That's my daughter cat, I call her, and
Mm-hmm.
she was very, very, very much like she doesn't bond to people that quickly. Like you're the fastest bond I've ever seen from her of anybody else I know. It was just like boom. Which again may be going against the assignment because I'm supposed to be interviewing someone way different than me, but
It adds a little spice to the interview, man.
yeah, she felt an energy from you that she bonded to very quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
and again, I still argue that you and I are very, very different people. You know what I mean? Different in the way we speak. But um so yeah, I can see that you're a cat person. I can see it. I can see it. Um Second one. Favorite place, or no, we're not on this. We're on the third one. Who was
Mm-hmm.
your first love, Ryan?
Mm. There
Yeah,
was a
big one.
Yeah, it was during high school, like my senior year, pretty much. And during that time, the one big thing I did in high school was the speech and drama team at our little high school in Boulder, Montana. And it became this cornerstone of it because our teacher, Mrs. Piccolo, had this way of just drawing these people together and just making great actors out of them. So it was great to be in there and be a part of that. And I competed with it for a few years, and for a long time there was this one tall, dark brunette girl from Shelby, Montana, about was it like 400 miles north? It's like this close to the Canadian border, I think. But I would see her in the humorous events a couple of times. But our senior year, when she put together this kind of true story piece about a bad breakup, and me and another guy did a cut of Rain Man,
Mm.
and we just started talking more and more and connecting more and more, and then before either of us realized it, we're necking in the back as the award ceremony is going on.
So that was the first woman you ever loved.
Desiree Dawn Gibbs was her name, and
Wow.
a very sweet girl. And but it's the distance factor just became a huge thing once the drama season ended, and it was just 4 hours in a car just to get to there one way. And tried to do it through the calls and letters as much as we could, just ended up just drifted slowly apart after that. So.
Wow. Wow. And I did not know that. That's what's crazy. I didn't know that about you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you did Rain Man too? I'm going off track here.
Yeah.
Were you the Hoffman character?
Of course, I'm wearing my underwear.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
definitely not wearing my underwear.
I'm not even gonna go into that right now, but the class that I'm in that is going to view this is going to love that, and that's all I'm gonna say right now, man.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So fourth question: favorite place you've ever visited?
Oh man. Immediately, what comes to mind? Edinburgh.
Damn, you've been okay.
This another drama thing. It was this because every year in Edinburgh is the Fringe Festival, I believe. I believe it's still like the largest theater festival in the world. Every year they pick one high school from each state in the continental US and invite them to come and perform at the Fringe. And Jefferson High in Boulder was like the first school from Montana ever chosen. I think to date the only school chosen, and a school that doesn't even technically have an auditorium. It's just their stage is inside one of their gymnasiums. It's essentially a giant hole in the wall. That we got invited to perform there, and after a year of fundraising, I mean, literally so much fundraising. I was doing performances up the wazoo, like starting at a dive bar in Basin and then driving 80 miles an hour to get to the high school to get on stage to do my scene in the Little Neil Simon play going on at the same time. Just stuff like that to raise the money to get over there. And we did ultimately. And, few days in London, which was cool, and then the train ride to Edinburgh. And just a great city to visit and to be a part of. And not to say that it was all about the drinking, but they didn't really card people. They didn't really card the Americans like they did anywhere else. So,
Ryan, that's so crazy because I don't know if you and I have ever that's like one of my favorite places of all time.
I could have sworn
I'm proving the whole thing wrong right now that everybody's gonna think we're too dissimilar, but like
I'm surprising you, so that's
yeah, I went to Edinburgh.
Oh yeah, it was like a whole odyssey for you up there. But
yeah, I wanted to travel to Edinburgh and for my internship. Before all the craziness and like just life, but like maybe that's where you and I'll end up someday working on stuff, man.
Yeah, just a pint at the pub and then get to it.
And that city's got like I've got family in that city, dude.
Right.
Family in that city. So, bro, yes, respect. That blows my mind that that's your answer, but that's it. Also doesn't surprise me. So, you know what? But let's get to this next question.
Right.
What is your? Oh, this is a big one, Ryan. What is your greatest fear? Take your time, man. Take your time.
To try my best and still amount to nothing. It's a hard thing to, when you want to be like a best friend, best lover, best person, best actor, best writer, and you do the you want to do the classes and then just do the work on yourself, and you think you're doing all right, but then it's one thing that really terrifies me is to put forth the great effort in life and to not really amount to anything to anyone. And while I know that not to be true in my case, I know that I do matter to a lot of people, like my family, yourself and the close-knit friends, and even the newer acquaintances that I've made. They all respect and value me as a person and for what I do, who I am and what I do. It is something that can really gnaw at me sometimes. It can keep me awake if I'm thinking that I can go to bed thinking that I did my very best, and then be kept awake with the dread that it still doesn't matter in the end.
Man, well, fair. Understandable. And again, I encourage you that it does matter always. And you matter, Ryan. You've meant a lot to me in my life. I can say that. So, but that's an understandable fear, my friend. We'll go a little lighter note here. Your first, I don't know, this might not apply to you, but maybe, and maybe if it doesn't, well, I'll reframe the question, but your first pet. Have you ever had a pet?
Oh, first pet, did you say? I'm sorry, the video just kind of broke up there.
Yeah. It's all right. Like your first animal pet. Have you ever had a pet?
A pet that I owned personally, I have not, though the first one that was in the same house as me, that I had a part in caring for and whatnot, was got by my youngest sister when she was living in the house same house as me and my folks and my older brother. Some neighbors had a litter of cats, and she was given one of them. It was this small little cat, like beige in color, had this really short stubby tail with the white tip, and eventually grew into this behemoth of a feline. Beans made Garfield look like a kitten, pretty much, is just how big he got. But biggest, most lovable ball of fur you ever knew, except when you were trying to groom him. He really came to hate that. And we took care of the cat for about 4 years before she finally moved out and took the cat with her. She had it for another 6 more on her own, and then one day he just walked out of her house and never came back. Very tragic ending on that. But that was probably and though I've never really owned a cat, that was probably the very first pet cat that I've interacted and connected with, and learned my few little lessons on what not to do with cats that will have them trying to scratch your face off.
All right, good story, Ryan. That's good. All right, we're back to another big one, man. So right. Brace yourself. Any regrets? What is actually this was supposed to be this is. Do you have any regrets, Ryan? I know that's almost a loaded ass question, but pick one.
Many of them in general are they all revolve kind of around the same thing: someone close to me passing on, and having a regret that I never had the opportunity to do this with them or say that to them, and just not live as much with them as I could have. The one in particular that really gnaws at me is the passing of my grandfather. It was, he was getting towards the end. He was not on like life support or anything at that point. He was still pretty out there for a man in his mid 90s, but he was in this assisted living place just because he was having some trouble with like taking care of himself basically. And for many years I would make it a point to always visit him every Sunday. You know, when he was still living at his home, I would cut his grass. He would drive me to the nearest bar, and I would have biscuits and gravy while he had a beer. And that just went on for years. Every Sunday we would meet up. There were days when I couldn't, and even if I couldn't, I would, call him, chat with him for a bit, and we would share stories, and I could hear his classical music playing in the background. He loved Wagner. Das Rheingold was a favorite opera of his. And but like the last Sunday that we had, I was at Carroll and working on a play at the time, and I remember thinking I couldn't get away this time. But I still called him. I still talked to him. But then it was that Halloween, like a week later almost, I got the call from my dad, and Norm's gone. So it was that last chance to see him, and the phone. I think I looking back, there are times like, fuck, I could have gone over, man. I just thought that I just thought wrongly there'd be another time, but at that time.
Okay, Fife man. I understand, bro. I do. We'll maneuver it to a lighter moment here. What is your favorite food?
Oh shit. Oh man, so many great foods out there, but like probably like the one food for me that is a real guilty pleasure, something that I could eat 3 squares a day of, and all of it, if you put it right in front of me, it would probably be mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I've done, as every time I make
Montana of you, I feel like that's Montana of you. But yes, keep going.
it's like every time I like make a pot for myself, and I tell myself, okay, I'm just gonna pace myself on this, and before the night's over, half the pot's gone. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this last time it was a good recipe. I found it online, just grabbed some real potatoes and some sweet potatoes and just made like a mash of that, and seasoned and good butter. And one thing I love doing lately is putting a bit of Tabasco in it.
Ooh, yeah.
Not the heavy Tabasco, but the green Tabasco.
That's some good stuff.
Something that just gives it a little kick.
Yeah.
But no, I could eat that like nothing more than anything.
That's awesome, bro. Like someday I'll grill a steak, Ryan, for us, because I know how to grill a steak like a boss. You know what I mean? And you make the mashed potatoes. That's a Montana meal right there, man. That like
with good potatoes.
Yeah, like you can't go wrong, man. So when you come visit, I'll ask you to do the potatoes, I'll get the steak, and we'll eat like kings, my friend.
That'll do it.
Like all right, here we go. We're getting into some bigger ones.
All right.
I think these next ones are kind of like my choice, but what is the last dream you remember?
It I usually don't remember dreams, and when I do, they're like little snippets of them, but there is a dream I had very recently that I still remember very vividly. And again, it's only like the last seconds of it, but I'm in my actual bed here in my bedroom in Portland, and I'm waking up to the sound of a door being slammed shut. And there's a second that goes by before I realize it's my door. And I'm hearing these footsteps. They're coming right to my bedroom. I'm bolting out of my bed and coming right to the door. And right as I reach it, like the door is like about to throw open. I've got myself pushed up against it, and that's when I like jolted up because
Wow.
yeah, I
Wow.
like it was my nearly falling out of bed that woke me up on that one. But I was like,
Wow. And
man,
you don't know who it is coming up? You don't.
I didn't see the person. So it was just these heavy ass footsteps that were coming. It was like they bolted right through the door and started stomping straight, like a beeline, straight from the front door to the bedroom, and was about to like break down the door pretty much.
Crazy, dude.
Mhm.
That's a reoccurring dream then, right?
It's certainly the most. It's I don't know if I've ever had it before, but it just
Oh,
happened
so that is
recently.
okay. So that's not reoccurring, but
No, it's the latest dream that I most remember vividly. Most remember vividly.
all right, awesome, man. I mean, that's a crazy ass dream, though.
Hmm.
Thanks for sharing. Last two quick, last two questions. Your favorite color, and then are you a morning person or a night person?
Mm, actually, no. I'm wearing my one of my favorite colors right now. I'd probably say my most favorite color since like childhood has been this bright red color.
Nice. I can see that. I
Yeah,
can.
I've grown to like other colors over the years, like certainly the darker shades of the blue or green, and of course black as well. You can't go wrong with black really sometimes.
No, you can't.
And
Can't.
like morning or night person, I'm I'd say at this point in my life I've become more of a morning person.
Okay.
I had my time where I could just like stay up all night, if I'm working on homework stuff, or at a the night or some nights where I'm just up playing a video game till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. But like lately I've shifted more towards being a morning person. I love, you know, even though I'm kind of what's the word? Kind of, even though I'm kind of sloggy, feeling a bit sluggish. That's the word I was going for, sluggish. Even though I'm a bit sluggish at the point, I still love crawling out of bed, getting that first pot of coffee going, and just sitting in a sitting in a chair. If the weather's good, there's a chair right outside. Just sit and sip the coffee and take in the sun. Just great way to begin a day, actually.
Hell yeah, Ryan. Well, that concludes our interview. And I mean, thanks for getting deep there too. And I mean, I'm sorry about your regrets at times, and it's something that I can somewhat relate with you on. And I think it's been fun also, as knowing you for as long as I have, to learn some new stuff about you, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, this is awesome, brother.
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll rock and roll. I think we can end the recording.
All
You know,
right.
so thanks,
Mm.
and yeah, cut whenever, my friend.
Oop, wait, that was